All right, this is just a test to see if the audio. Oh my gosh, you guys okay?
There was a time.
Well, the weather's supposed to cool off next week, and it's already cloudy and rainy today. So we are trying to get this plastic up so that we can keep the temperature warm. We tested the hull temperature yesterday, and it was like 75 degrees or something like that. Today it's down to like 65. We had to be above 55 degrees on the hull in order for this paint to cure. So that's what we're doing. Today is Sunday, by the way. It is day 6 of us being up here. So we're gonna drop this plastic. It's supposed to be 100 feet long by 20 feet wide, and that ought to be enough for us to create a tent. We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Wind on the water, sunrise shine. Freight train humming down the coastal line. Pocket full of memories, nothing but time. And the road keeps rolling through my mind. So I ride on the highway to the moonlight, where the shadows.
Putting this plastic on here was a nightmare. It was blowing everywhere. The wind was coming up. This front really came through as we were doing this. You can see right now it's cloudy up above. In just a few minutes it'll all clear out. But this wind blew in, the temperature started dropping, and we were up there struggling with this thing like crazy. I'm really surprised that we were able to get it done really at all. James did a great job and has really been a tremendous help during this entire project. He has put in a lot of time and effort and has learned a lot. I think he's had a good time working with Paul and learning from him.
Okay, well, we got the first side on of the plastic. These wind gusts are not helping. This is a little bit tricky. And then I have to figure out what kind of heater I'm gonna put up under there to raise the temperature. So still a lot of questions, but James is doing a great job of doing as good as we can do it right now. It's kind of hard work, really. All right, we'll be back in a second as we do the other side. Boy, we are really having a hard time figuring out what to do. These wind gusts, so a front has come through, like way over there, it's all cloudy and looks like stormy, and devil, don't fall down, James. So that looks like terrible storm over there. And over here, it's nice and clear. So there's a front that has blown through, and it's supposed to bring cooler temperatures. We've taped all this up there pretty good, but these gusts are kind of playing hell with it. So I don't think we're going to paint tomorrow anyway. And so I think what we do is let's see if these wind gusts die down. Leave this side up, and then we'll do the other side tomorrow. Besides, I got to figure out heaters anyway. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit, but this is real-time data that you guys are seeing here. This is life in real time. I used to watch a show, Samson Boat Company, and they built a whole big old shed around their sailboat when they were rebuilding it, but we're not going to do that. We'll just hopefully just do this, because we're not rebuilding it. We're just sanding and painting. All right, standing by. Well, hey there, everybody. It is Sunday afternoon up here, and this front came through, and it kind of blew things around a little bit. We had rain this morning, and the temperature's dropping. It's already down to about 60 degrees, and we were hoping to start painting tomorrow, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that, and I'll tell you why. If you look right here, here's what's going on. Oh, here it is right here. So this is my temperature gun. And if I take, I'm not going to be able to get through it here. I just took the temperature a minute ago. See this wind coming up. I just took this whole temperature a minute ago. 54 degrees. And I've got to have 55 degrees at a minimum to paint. So the idea is to put this plastic on there, put electric heaters under there, and have it heat up and be above 55 degrees. But it was so windy today, we could only get one side of the plastic on. And we'll try to get, the wind is supposed to lay down, so we'll get the other side of the plastic on tomorrow and see if we can keep it warm. I don't know, we'll do the best we can. But we wanted to come back up here real quick and just check, because it's been so windy, I didn't want all of this to fly away today. So far, so good. It hadn't flown away, although we have had to make some patches. But we'll be back up here bright and early in the morning, and we will see what we're going to do. So we'll check in the morning, but as of right now, I don't know. We'll just have to see. See you tomorrow. Well, morning, everybody. It is Monday morning here, bright and early. So we've got some decisions to make this week, and it mainly has to do with temperature. So my whole goal, and besides passing the Coast Guard inspection, but my whole thing was I want this boat painted. I want the whole thing painted. It's really, really important to me that we get the hull painted, the deck painted, and the pilot house painted. It needs it, and you know, it just looks so much better when we have that. We had a super week last week and got so much progress done on the prep work, which takes a long time, and is the most important thing to do when painting is the prep work. But this week the weather has turned on us. This front blew through yesterday, and it's now cold and windy. It's about 42 degrees this morning. And so conditions have become less favorable. So hang on a second and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Well, so maybe you can see up here, we've got a pretty good breeze blowing. And it's cold. And the data sheets on the paint say that we've got to be above 55 degrees air temperature, and then we've got to be like 5 to 7 degrees above the dew point on the surface temperature. So like, for example, at 42 degrees, which it is right now, the dew point's way down, but there's no way that we can paint. We couldn't even think about it because the paint just won't cure. This is an epoxy-based paint, and it just won't cure. So we've got to make sure that everything is warm enough for us to do this. So where does that leave us? I don't know. We're checking the forecast for this week, and it looks like it doesn't look like it gets, well, it doesn't look like we have much time above 55 degrees. I do think it gets into the 60s. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Paul about it when he gets here. But it may be that we just have to get the boat ready, get dry dock credit, and head on back to St. Simon's with the boat unpainted and do the rest of the work there at the dock. That may be the thing to do, although I'd rather paint it here. I don't know. These are the decisions we're kind of working on this week. Man, it's windy this morning. Freezing cold. All right, well, that's what we're dealing with. Okay, guys, so we've made some decisions. We have decided after talking to Paul, there's Paul, this morning, that tinting the boat is the wrong idea for us, because it would as in the words of Paul, it was stupid. So that was a dumb thing to do. So I've undone that. We've taken all of that plastic and unfortunately we put it in the recycle bin. So we're recycling because we're environmentally conscious. So now what we're doing is we're going to finish prepping, and then we looked at the weather, and maybe starting on the 21st of this month is a weather window where we can start painting. So that's what it looks like we're going to do. So we're going to finish all the stuff that we can do in this weather. Finish sanding. James is going to finish that. We found a couple of other little areas that are kind of soft. Here's one. And we're going to get that fixed up. There's another one right here. Sorry, I'm learning how to work this Zoom. And then there's another one here that he's found right here. And so we're pulling all that wood out of there. There's James up there working on it. So we'll get all that cleared up here. And then another thing that we're going to do is back here on the transom, we're going to sand all that paint off and expose that mahogany so that we can varnish that. So we can do that this week. And things of that nature. So that's what we're doing. That's what we decided. We pulled all that plastic off. It's easier to work around, not nearly as loud too. And then we'll keep going. Paul, that's one of those new boards that Huckins put in, isn't it?
Yeah. I believe so. That's the one I'll put in.
Well, folks, it ain't all fun and games dealing with an old wooden boat. But like Shrek says, better out than in. Well, this is one of those deals where this may become the gift that keeps on giving. The more he keeps poking around, the more stuff he finds. Now, although it sucks at the momento, it's actually really good that we're finding this so that we can get this bad wood out of there. It's funny how on these boats you don't really You don't really know it's there until you just start messing around. But then when you start messing around, it ends up becoming kind of obvious. But we'll get this bad wood out. I'm about to go get on the phone right now and source the replacement wood. Well, that area of soft wood has gone back a little farther than we thought it did. But we have discovered the culprits. I've got 3 scuppers over here that sometimes get clogged. And this is the side of the boat that we don't, you know, every boat has a pretty side and an ugly side. And this is our kind of, I guess, our ugly side. We don't get on this side.
Sorry about losing the audio there for a second. What I was saying is that this side of the boat we don't see very much, and it's the ugly side of the boat, and we've got to do a better job of maintaining it.
So James has been at this about 2 hours, and that's kind of what we found. It's about, I don't know, I'm about to go buy 30 board feet of mahogany and get in there with that. So Paul gets to do some real woodwork stuff now. I gotta go get my table saw, all kind of fun stuff. I got the guys in there working on my valves. You can't see them because they're inside the boat. And they're finishing up the valves, they're bore scoping all that, and they'll be back out in a minute. We'll get to see what they see. So we're getting it all done here. Whew. This will work on your heart a little bit. So I'm just sitting here riding down the road. I'm headed to the hardware store and just thinking about all this. You know, owning this old wooden boat is full of so many highs and lows, and it's just, you know, it's an emotional roller coaster really being involved. We have really tried to preserve this boat ever since we got involved with it back in 2019, and it's just really funny how, you know, you have to do all these things and you find out things that are wrong with it, you know, like having this soft wood in the, when I say soft, I mean, you know, basically there's no structure left in the wood, and the boat can seem perfectly fine, and then you find these areas, and of course that's exactly why we brought it here, is to be able to find stuff like this and make these repairs. But it's just, you know, you think that things are going well, and all of a sudden, wham, you just get hit with this kind of stuff. I know there's plenty of people that, well, that's just owning a wooden boat. Yeah, I hear you. It just doesn't make it any easier to hear that. So it's definitely disappointing that we have found this, but on the other side of it, on a positive note, it is good that we found it now. It was like I was talking to Paul, and he said it's better to find this now than before we get, you know, all that new paint on there and just have to tear it all up then. But it has created a challenge. I have found some wood in Savannah that I can go get, but I'm going to try to buy this wood here, and I'm going to try to get it from a local company, J.C. Strother on St. Simons. They're nice guys. We like to try to support local business as much as we can, and I'd rather, so if they can get the mahogany that I need, I'll get it from them. Otherwise, I'll have to go up to Savannah to get it. But I'm headed to the hardware store right now to pick up some saw blades so that we can finish cleaning up that area. So I told y'all that we like doing business with local folks, and these guys here are just fantastic. This is in Darien, Georgia, called First Georgia Hardware, and these folks are just as nice as they can be. Not a sponsor, but I just like doing business with them. Real old school kind of hardware store. And so if you're ever in Darien, Georgia, and need a place to go buy some stuff, this one's worth coming to see. This is a pretty cool spot up here near where we're working. This is a little side road that I've never been down called Talamato. And I've never seen it before. I'm about to get run over. But there's a sign here I figured I'd go capture. Famous sugar mill and rum distillery. Huh. How about that? So I'm going to ride down here and check out what this is. A hurricane tore off the roof of the place, an upper story of the mill, and destroyed other buildings in 1824. Let's go see what this is all about. This is pretty cool back here. This island, I guess, which was an old plantation, now has like estate-sized homes on it. If you can see way back in there, they're all elevated. It's beautiful. It's like, I mean, this is technically a barrier island, I would guess. It used to be a plantation, and now there's a bunch of houses on it. They sit on great big lots, huge trees. I guess this is what it would be like if you developed Cumberland Island or something like that. One of these. Maybe this is what Sapelo would look like if there was a bridge to it and they sold off all the land, but there's a lot right there. Wonder how much it is to live out here. Oh, it's nice. I mean, it's quiet, nice. I bet it's buggy. Anyway, this is my little detour. I've always wanted to know what was out here. Now I know. All right, we'll catch up with you later. It's Wednesday morning, and it's cloudy and rainy. I'm at J.C. Strother Lumberyard. It's right here in the middle of St. Simon's. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is right down in the village. And it's cold and rainy and cloudy. Dude over here's got a good fire going. But I have picked up the mahogany that's going to go back in the boat. And we got a good fire going over here. You wouldn't think all this stuff would happen down at the beach. He's got a good fire going, but I'm down here picking up this mahogany. This is what's going to go back in the side of String of Pearls. I've got it wedged in here somehow. There's some laws about this. I'm not sure what it is, but I think I've got to have a marker on the back of it. I don't think that's going anywhere. We'll see. But I'm headed up the hill right now to go drop this stuff off. We'll see how that goes. I'll see y'all in Valona. We're back up here in Valona. As you can see, that's all the stuff we've got going on there. Nemo was just here from the Coast Guard, and we're pretty good. All of the valves operated. We still have to cap one off in the galley, but all the valves operated and worked just great. So that's fine. We're moving the scaffolding over because we're going to clean up all that stuff and make it look square. I somehow, some way got all this lumber up here without it falling out all over the road. Sub $100 worth of mahogany. Appreciate those guys at J.C. Strother. They're good guys. But we're getting everything ready to finish up cleaning up the area where we took out that soft wood. And we'll have that done here in just a little bit. And then as soon as the temperature warms back up, which really, frankly, may not be till next week, then we'll get started on some other stuff. Okay, I just got done with River Supply and picking up my fairing compound. I just can't say enough good things about those folks. They really care and understand, and they know what it's like, you know, to go through all this stuff like we're doing. I just, you know, we are really fortunate to have these people here that we can rely on to help us make sure we're okay. Really grateful for these river supply folks. All right, so end of the day, kind of wrap up from Valona. Today is Wednesday, so I guess this is our 8th day up here. It's hard for me to keep count, so forgive me if some of my stuff is not right as far as how long we've been here. I think this is our 8th day, I guess. Anyway, I've been here, and then I went up to Savannah, up to River Supply, and picked up those additional supplies. Now I'm back here. The weather's awful. It's drizzly, rainy, cold, windy. Not great. It's going to get worse as the week goes on. So this will be a slow week for us. But then next week we get better weather. So next week I think that we'll move a lot more rapidly. We're going to do what we can while we're here and while the weather's like this. And then really, start moving fast next week, because Matt needs me to get out of here. He's got other boats that want to come in. I want to get back to St. Simon's, get the boat in the water. So we're all kind of anxious to get going here. But here is what they got done before the rain came in. Hang on. All right, so they got up on the ladder and squared that up. So that all looks good. They got to finish that one up tomorrow and clean all that up. A lot of that can just be filled in with epoxy. The Coast Guard, of course, was out here and saw all this, and they were really interested in me writing up a document about how this is all going to be fixed, which I'll do, and I'll do that today, about our good repair. Our mahogany is under here. It's great looking wood. And again, we bought this at J.C. Strother. Beautiful wood. So that's our wood from J.C. Strother. Pretty interesting. You can see all the way through there. So on an old wooden boat. Now I'll show you. Look way back in there. You can see all the way through the boat right now. There's windows back on that other side. Huh. Interesting. All right, well, I'll see you back in St. Simon's. It is nice and peaceful out here. Out off in the distance that way, that's Sapelo. This is where we are. See some power lines out there that goes to Sapelo. Quiet out here, very peaceful when nobody's here. Well, here we are. It's Saturday, folks. We haven't been able to do a whole lot this week because of the weather. It's been freezing. Today is actually kind of nice. I guess, I don't know, it's about 60 degrees, so we're trying to hurry up and get some epoxy in some of these holes to get them sealed up because it's warming up. James has done a great job back here. Look, this is going to be so pretty. I'm really excited about exposing the wood on this transom. I think that's going to look great. That ugly piece of patch wood up there is where we used to shoot skeet off the boat. And one of the reasons that we don't shoot skeet off the boat is Somebody actually accidentally shot a hole in the back of the boat. But anyway, James has done a great job of opening all this up, and I think that next week it's going to be warm enough where we can get that new wood back in. We can certainly cut it and dry fit it back in. No question about it. God, this is stressful. There, we've got some of this thickened epoxy going in some of these little holes here.
Man, I'm really grateful for this guy. James has really done so much for us on this project.
One more squirt and you can just squish it in there.
He has a super attitude and is always willing to step in there and help. Doesn't complain.
And let that pressure off of it. Let the pressure off back. There you go. There you sit.
If you ever need somebody to help you around anything, James is a good one. He's right there at the marina in St. Simons and can do about anything, but I get him first, so I have dibs.
It'll be a good repair. Okay, it's later in the afternoon now, and I've done really all I can do here. There's just places I can't get to all up under there. So it's Saturday afternoon. Here's kind of how we stand. We basically lost most of this week. We got done what we could, and James has made good progress on the transom. But the weather really got us. I guess I spoke too soon last week when I said we were ahead. Now we're behind. Tomorrow they're calling for snow down here. Even though it's like 60 degrees here today, doesn't feel bad. But it's definitely going to be too cold and nasty to do anything tomorrow. So we'll take tomorrow off and get back going Monday. The plan moving forward is supposed to warm up this week. And so we'll get as much done as we can. We hopefully will start painting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we will wrap up and hopefully head down the next week. So hopefully we've got less than 2 weeks left here. Here's a picture of how the transom's coming. James got pretty far today. That's really great. He's not far from being done with that. A couple more hours. I don't know what I'm going to do about that ugly spot up there where the wood doesn't match. Not sure what to do about that. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. But that'll do it for this week. Really appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for the feedback and encouragement. It means a ton when you're in the middle of a project like this. I'm real grateful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.